Hello everyone, my name is Shweta Saxena and I am working as an assistant professor in Rama University. Today I am going to take a lecture on research methodology and the topic is sampling and sampling techniques. First of all, we need to understand what do you mean by a sample. Sample is a part of population. When we have to conduct a research inquiry, we cannot go for population survey because it is very time consuming and it is very expensive also. So we go for sampling procedure. Sample is a part of population and we do sampling because we have to collect sample. So basically we can say that sampling is the methods or techniques which we use to collect a sample. There are many techniques like there are sampling techniques we can divide into two parts, probability or random sampling, and the next one non-probability or non-random sampling. We will study these parts of sampling one by one. The first one is probability sampling or random sampling. In probability sampling, it is based on probability law. That is, in probability law, we can say that if we go for a sampling procedure, then each and every unit of sampling get a equal number and independent chances of being selected in a sample. That is called probability or non-random probability or random sampling, because there is a random chances of selection of each and every unit of population. There are many techniques in probability or random sampling. The first one is simple random sampling, stratified random sampling, systematic random sampling, cluster sampling, area sampling, and multi-stage and subsampling. Now we will understand all these sampling techniques one by one. The first one is simple random sampling. In simple random sampling, we go for different techniques like lottery method, or if the researcher has any kind of list of respondents already available, then he can choose those sampling units from that list also. And simple random table numbers are also there. We can select samples from those simple random table, and these methods are categorized into simple random sampling. And in simple random sampling is a sampling technique of probability sampling. And the next one is stratified random sampling. In stratified random sampling, we first divide the population into several parts, and these parts are known as strata. Within each strata, the units are more homogeneous, and between the strata, the units are more heterogeneous. Stratified random sampling is very most important sampling technique in sampling techniques, because it is very accurate and valid. So when we go for sampling techniques, we choose stratified random samplings more often. The next one is systematic random sampling. As the name suggests, systematic. In systematic random sampling, the researcher have to collect a particular list of respondents so that he can choose a sample from that list. We choose their kth item. Like if we choose one item, then we go for kth item. We suppose that k is equal to 10. Then we can say that the first one is first item we will select, then 1 plus k. If k is equal to 10, then 1 plus 10 is equal to 11. The next item will be 11th item. So we will add the this kth item in every unit, and we will get the another sampling unit to be selected in a sample. This is called systematic random sampling. The next one is cluster sampling. In cluster sampling, we use cluster sampling techniques when the data is more spread over the population, where we choose the clusters of population. In clusters, units are more heterogeneous in nature, and between the cluster, the units are more homogeneous in nature. The next one is area sampling. As the name suggests, area sampling means when we go for a sample survey through a wide geographical area, the basis is geographical area, then we go for area sampling. Like villages, cities. In cities, there are different districts. In districts, we will go for blocks. So this kind of techniques is known as area sampling, which is based on totally a geographical area. Next one is multi-stage and subsampling. In multi-stage sampling, we go for different types of techniques in each choosing the sampling units. There is a population, and there is a wide number of population, and the number of informants are very wide available. So we choose for multi-stage sampling techniques. First of all, we choose a sample, then next stage we further choose a sample, then in next stage we further choose a sample from that sample, and each step we use a different techniques of sampling. This is called multi-stage and subsampling. The next one is non-probability or non-random sampling. Non-probability, as the name suggests, non-probability, there is no probability law, there is no equal number of chances of being selected in a sample. So we can say that it is not more accurate than probability sampling. Probability sampling is more accurate and valid in comparison to non-probability or random sampling. There are 4 subdivisions of non-probability and non-random sampling. The first one is convenience or accidental sampling. Convenience sampling, where the researcher is collect the sampling units from their convenience, or we can say that the units which are more accessible to researcher, he will select those units. So this is called convenience sampling or accidental sampling. That's why, because there is a no equal number of chances of each and every unit for being selected in a sample. It is totally depend on the researchers. Okay, like researcher, if you can say that if you know researcher have any kind of respondents available to him, then he will collect the data from those respondents only. The next one is purposive or judgment sampling. In purposive or judgment sampling, it is totally based on the criteria of some experts or some judges. Like we select those sample units which the most appropriate, we judge most appropriate for the representation of population. So the experts are necessary for this kind of sampling techniques. If they know already the purpose of the population survey or sample survey, then he decide accordingly what the units should be selected which are best suited to a sample survey. Next one is quota sampling. In quota sampling, we categorize the data into parts, and these parts are known as quotas. Okay, then the quotas, first we categorize those quotas and numbering them quotas, quota 1, quota 2, quota 3. Then we select sampling units from those quotas on the basis of some traits like gender, social status, occupation, income. These are the basic traits which we choose for quota sampling study. The next one is snowball sampling. In snowball sampling, this is a very colorful technique because it is based on reference groups. The researcher have some references. If he have any reference list, then he can choose those sampling units from this reference list. And this is also, we can say that it is totally depend on the convenience of the researcher, which units he has in a reference group or reference list. He choose only those units for a snowball sampling or reference sampling. That's all for today, and thank you very much.